So GGYGO dropped a video yesterday called "This Mentality Has to Stop," where he pretty much went into Yu-Gi-Oh elitism and talking about how there a lot of the BS that goes on in the competitive side of Yu-Gi-Oh from people saying tops don't matter unless you make a top 8 or a top 32 at a YCS. Tops expire. Like if you topped an event like maybe 10, 20 years ago, back in the day, your top don't count because it was in a different era. And this is different things like that. People saying, oh, if you just get your invite and grind hard, you're just not a good player. And in that video, I 100% agree with him. It was an awesome video. Shout out to GGYGO. It makes good content. And I want to give my little take on this and give you guys my Yu-Gi-Oh 20 plus years of experience with this whole situation. So you guys already know I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for 20 plus years. And back in the early 2000s, like 2004 to 2008, Yu-Gi-Oh! Elitism was freaking terrible. I remember back in the day, if you wasn't part of like a special team, especially locally here in Chicago, and you were just a random guy or kid that just went to locals to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You were looked at as a scrub. Now, obviously, everybody didn't have this mentality. It was mainly the people who were topping locals every week or winning locals every week. They looked at nobody as a threat. Like I'm gonna give you guys an example. I remember my buddy Jason, who you guys saw in my video yesterday, who I referenced was pretty good at Yu-Gi-Oh. He was in my local vlog yesterday playing Pokemon with my homie Jackie. I remember back in the day, it was a big thing at our local shop that he was one of the best players there. I ain't gonna lie. He was, I forgot, I think it was like Monarch format 0607. And there was a local team in Chicago that was really good. I don't want to mention them because I don't want to bring up no drama just in case it gets back to one of the team members and they get offended about it. This is some 20-year-old stuff, but they were very arrogant. And I remember one day my buddy Jason actually won locals and he kind of went off on the team because they were all talking shit. They all was arrogant as hell. And when he beat their team captain in the finals of locals, he said, F this team. He didn't say literally F this team. He said F, said their team name. I beat this BITCH. And the whole car shop went crazy. And everyone was cheering because the team was so freaking arrogant because they were literally running all the Chicago locals at the time that when their team captain essentially got beat, he was pissed, and rightfully so. A lot of the team members in the team was pissed. They all left locals mad as hell, and it was a good day for my boy. But elitism don't stop back then. I remember one of the teammates on that team that I'm referencing. I eventually got cool with the guy later. I'm not gonna mention his name because me and him was homies. I haven't heard from him in a while. But back in the day, I didn't like this dude at all. And he used to be so annoying at locals. I remember one time he played a kid, and the kid beat him in locals. I was a little older at the time. I was like 18, 19, maybe 20. I forgot. Right around the time me and him started getting cool. And the kid literally was main decking Goblin Attack Force. This is during the format where I think his name was Chaos Sorcerer. He had 2300 attack, banish a face up monster on the board. And it was a really good, it was like one of those good cards at the time. So anyway, the kid main deck Goblin Attack Force. And the kid was crashing into his Chaos Sorcerer, I believe, and wiping his board and came back and actually beat him in a tournament. And literally, the guy I'm referencing literally had a freaking meltdown. He was like, "I could have cheated you, but I didn't. I could have cheated you, but I didn't. Two goblins. Who runs Goblin Attack Force? Two goblins." And not gonna lie, me and my homies looked at each other and we freaking laughed because it was hilarious. The dude literally teared up because he freaking lost to like a 13-year-old kid at the time. I think the kid was 13 or 14. Really cool kid. He used to hang out at the shop a lot. His grandma used to drop him off. Real cool kid. Remind me of my son. The more I think about it, just going back in the day, he was a really competitive kid, and he beat this dude that was part of a famous local team. And the dude that was part of the team, he was pissed. He damn near cried. I done seen dudes cry multiple times over the years when it come to card games. And I ain't gonna lie, myself included, I haven't cried over Yu-Gi-Oh, but I've been really arrogant to the point where, I had feelings where I felt like I shouldn't have lost. And, I thought I was the shit, like my shit didn't stink. But, I got really had to remind myself, like, dude, it's not that serious because believe it or not, people are only really arrogant in the gaming world, specifically with Yu Gi Oh! Because a lot of us are social outcasts. A lot of us before we had Yu Gi Oh! Didn't really have much going on in our personal lives. Like a lot of people, they either went to high school, they got bullied, they got picked on for being anime nerds. You gotta remember, back in the day, being an anime nerd was not popular like it is now in 2025. anime was not the thing. You was getting no hoes back then if you were into anime. You really had to hide that stuff or be a real pretty boy. And or you just was just gonna be a social outcast and you don't really hang around anime fans. So most people who played Yu-Gi-Oh had it bad. And when they actually came to Yu-Gi-Oh and they realized they were actually good at something, it made a lot of them feel good about themselves. And one thing I've learned from being on my Naruto CCG team, just from seeing how players was in Naruto, and even a few of my old teammates who the team had to check multiple times to calm their arrogance down when they got to doing good. We realized that people get big headed once they start doing good in card games, and the reason why, and when the reason, and we all talked about it, like the reason why people get big headed is because their personal lives suck and they have nothing else going on. Think about the people who really have that egotistical mindset when it comes towards Yu-Gi-Oh players who are just trying to get better, bringing them down because they happy they got a top, or they happy they finally won a logos of the rogue deck. Think about the mindset of a person like that. That's a miserable effing person with no life, gets no hoes, and even if they do have a life, they do get hoes. They're just not happy people. They're assholes, and no one likes an arrogant asshole. Nobody, right? Like I remember just playing Yu-Gi-Oh throughout the years. I personally have dealt with this with multiple different people at my card shops I've been to, and I had to multiple times humble folks. And I remember one time I got into it with a guy, and he was like, "Oh, you just a crappy YouTuber," and I'm like, "Bro, I have more credentials in this game than you do. I've topped the YCS. I've top 8 regionals." And when everyone else verified it, he was like, "Oh, he just shut the F up." And outside of that situation, people used to always get on me for playing rogue decks. I remember I used to beat a lot of different people with heroes and gadgets back in the day, and people used to get so pissed. Oh, the stupid deck. Oh, I don't even want to play test against this dude. The deck's not even worth my time playing. Ugh, this is annoying. It's not real. But then once I got my YCS top back in the day, people shut the hell up. Then like, okay, that deck ain't that bad. I completely understand where GGYGO came from with the whole elitism and things like that. But he didn't just talk about just people's nasty attitudes when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. He also talked about like a lot of these people who, if I'm being honest, disrespect their fans. Like he referenced someone who pretty much screwed people over on a spreadsheet, gave them kind of like old information. And my take on that is this, man. YouTubers and pros in general been doing this for years. This ain't nothing new. And it goes back to what I said about people who are just arrogant as hell in the card game. They have this card game is their life. They have nothing else going on. And even if they do have other good stuff going on in their life, they're just miserable people, because only a miserable motherfucker would do that to somebody and screw people over and just not care about the fans who actually made them who they are. Like, I'm not the biggest YouTuber, right? But I do pride myself on, at least when I do meet my audience members at YCSs, at locals, at regionals, I try to be as respectful as possible, because I know at the end of the damn day, I wouldn't be shit without my fans. And I don't even like calling y'all fans. Y'all really call y'all my subscribers, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't be nothing without a lot of you guys, and I think a lot of YouTubers haven't really had that reality check, or maybe they realize it and they just don't care. Because I can get it. Sometimes people you meet can be a little annoying. They can be a little evasive. They can get too much in your personal space. And everyone really ain't social people like that. There's a lot of introverts out there who do this content creator thing. I get it. Cause I'm that way as well. Sometimes I feel like, oh my God, oh my God, that was a little too much. I'm having too much. I guess what's the term everybody use nowadays? I'm overstimulated, right? But at the same time, I calm down. I say, you know what, Chris, it is what it is. I get it. If I met somebody who I watch online too, I would be pretty stoked. And like I said, I don't look down on people. I understand, but I do understand both sides of one person kind of getting a little annoyed. But it's still no excuse to treat your audience members like shit. Like there is no excuse. But hey, people love that shit though, because people still subscribe to the people, they still watch the people, and they still are in denial. But that's neither here or there. I'm not really here to talk about YouTubers and reference YouTubers who do things that I hear from different people, what people tell me at events. It really don't matter. But the point is though, airing Yu-Gi-Oh players, it all comes down to the people that's having no life outside of Yu-Gi-Oh. Honestly speaking, I remember back in the day, people used to be so much assholes they used to charge like a lot of the pros from back in the day used to charge YouTubers for deck profiles. Now, on one end, you might be like, well, they don't have to go out their profile. And I get it, they technically don't. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you want people want to interview you to make the show everyone what you're running, and you're willing to do an interview for $40. It's like, bro, you're not a celebrity. Stop it. Like like I would be like, keep your deck profile, keep your deck and shove it up your ass. Personally, however, people used to pay them for the profiles and they used to get their little views, and I get it, but I always thought that was kind of lame. If I'm being honest, like I was always one of those type of guys when I did good at events back in the day. I was always honored to have people do my deck profile and do my interview. And I'm not even really like I don't really care about being in the social media space like that as far as like being the biggest, you know what I'm saying? I always did it because I wanted to put out good content. And I ain't gonna lie, I kind of did it because of a little bit of ego as well. I felt like there needed to be more competitive content out there, but people really wasn't doing the content I thought I wanted to watch. So I started making the content myself. Nowadays, that's different. Nowadays, there's tons of different channels that make competitive content, but that's just besides the point. But yeah, to wrap this video, man, GGYGO dropped an awesome video, man. Y'all need to check it out. And yeah, man, elitism and Yu-Gi-Oh is the goofiest shit ever in the world. No one should really be talking down on other players that enjoy the game we love. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like I said, I'm not perfect. Like I've been one of those guys that's been a little egotistical at times. Like when I lost, I felt like I shouldn't have lost, and I got really upset about that. And I go take a walk and take a breather. I'm like, man, how the hell I lose? I've even vented to my buddies. And one time my buddy Charles told me, like, dude, why are you complaining? Calm down. It's not that deep. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So, like I said, I get it, which is why I wanted to talk about this topic because some players they don't get it, and some people maybe they don't understand how goofy they look just complaining about, or rather talking shit or talking down to people who is excited about getting their invite or excited about getting a top 8 of the regionals for the first time or is excited about making day 2 of the YCS. That's like some loser shit in my opinion, man. A lot of these people need to grow up and realize like, dude, we're all nerds. We all enjoy the same hobby. We don't all have to be best freaking friends. But at the same time, at the very least we can do is just not bring each other down. Like, I didn't realize how toxic the Yu-Gi-Oh community really was until I found myself being toxic myself, and I stopped a lot of my toxic stuff. And I don't even think I was really that toxic. I just, I'll complain and I'll vent and I'll rant when I lose. But I always told my opponents like, hey man, I'm not really mad at you. I'm mad at the game. And that was a personal issue. Made me realize I just not wasn't enjoying the way Yu-Gi-Oh is being played. But I'm also you know, once I started getting into other communities like Beyblade X, and even back in the day when I used to play the Naruto CCG, bro, it's like complete night and day difference. People are more friendly. People are more chill. Yes, people are competitive. Yes, people have egos, but it's friendly ego. It's friendly banter. It's not a lot of, oh my god. It's like everyone's hella tilted because they super lost. Because they lost and they felt like they shouldn't lost. It was real. It's real different. From me going back from Naruto to Yu-Gi-Oh, the world changed. I remember one time when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh back in like 2012 again. I went to this one card shop, and there was one guy there. He wasn't really an asshole, but everyone thought I was gonna get smoked by him. He was like one of their best players. And you know what happened? I smoked him. I remember he was playing Gravekeepers, and Gravekeepers was one of the best decks at that time. I was playing Gadgets. I ended up beating him in the finals. People were shocked. Dude shortly quit Yu-Gi-Oh after that. Like I said, he was cool, but his buddies was kind of like, oh yeah, you guys know you play a guy, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's gonna win, and they talking shit behind your back, and you can kind of hear them talking shit, and then you end up smoking the dude, and everyone's all shocked. It was one of those moments, and it was kind of like I kind of established myself as an okay player when I did that. And sometimes I wonder, like, is that really, I'm one of those guys too. I'm old school, so it's kind of like I get the psychology of men because we're so competitive when we, kind of like have the hierarchy of things. But I personally don't like when it gets to the point where people are bringing each other down. Because as you get older and the community gets older, people are just not going to tolerate that shit. They rather go play a different game where everyone's more chill and don't take the game too seriously. Like I was speaking to my buddies My buddy Trey, my childhood homie, last week when I was at Nats, or 2 weeks ago when I was at Nats, and he was telling me like he couldn't handle. He don't like really hyper competitive people games like that because he knows himself and he knows like he's not gonna have a good time getting pissed off with someone being an asshole to him. He probably want to punch the dude in the face, and I get it because like everyone's not really about that, that arrogant, smug, elitist attitude. Like I've literally seen multiple people throughout the years check people at locals because of their attitudes. Like I know at least two dudes specifically I'm thinking of right now. Actually, I know multiple dudes, but two dudes specifically, um, throughout at least the past 10 years who dealt with one of the arrogant local pros who got pissed and was shit talking them after they lost and literally had to check them with the "Oh, you want to step outside?" And of course the dudes shut the F up and then they went about their day. So yeah, man. Arrogance and Yu-Gi-Oh needs to stop. Elitism and Yu-Gi-Oh needs to stop. We're all playing a card game, man. The card shop should be a place of peace. It shouldn't be a place of chaos. And yeah, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you guys experienced arrogance and elitism and Yu-Gi-Oh in your local area? Let me know. And once again, I don't really see a lot of that now at my current card shop I go to, Quality Gaming. Me, it's a little bit. I mean, we're all competitive, but I feel like we're more friendly competitive with each other. Yeah, we all have our salty moments. I definitely have mine. However, for the most part, at my current locals, everyone's pretty chill. But I've had multiple different locals throughout the years, and like I done been around the card game scene for so long. I've seen everything GGYGO was talking about in his video, and then some. And it got to the point where it's kind of like, you know, I understand why the outside world look at us like freaking man childs because when a lot of these quote unquote pros lose, obviously not all of them, they get so pissed. They act like freaking kids, man. But anyway, it's your boy Rogue Hero, and I'm signing out. I just want to give you guys this quick little story, and I'm out. Peace. See you guys in the next video.